where we gave an estimate to rebuild the deck or to do some restoration and repair. The customer chose a restoration and repair. There's some issues with the deck that need to be rebuilt. You'll see like this double posts that are together. It's not normally the way it's done. So there's some things that were just not quite right when we first came out to do the estimate. That's why we gave them an estimate to rebuild the deck. But anyway, these are the things that we'll evaluate and we'll look at as we walk around here. So let's first turn around and we can see the railings. There is a lot of mold, mildew, algae, organic growth. It's all over the place. So this is going to have to get cleaned up. Now, we're also going to work on tightening up some of the railings. They're not terrible, but you can see he strapped them. They're a little loose. So we're going to work on some of that kind of stuff. And then let's take a look at the deck itself. The deck, as you can see, has some lighter color, some darker color. And it's usually what happens, you put a sealer, then you go to a semi, a tint, you go to something a little darker. So we've got multiple coats all over the place. And then what happens is when you do that, then it begins to peel. Plus he has a dog. You can hear the dog probably barking. Now with that, some of the stuff is rotting. And you can see, typical of today's nails and screws, just kind of things aren't all the same. They rot around the screws. Got some rot over here. He does keep rugs out on the deck. He started putting pieces in. Now, just as my thing with putting pieces of wood in, it takes time to cut them and be exact. When you're doing that, you're better off just taking out the whole piece. I'll flip it back around and you can see the piece goes from here and down, and you've been better off just to put a whole piece in. It's easier to take the whole board out and put another one in. Now, when you're evaluating things like labor, the time and labor to pull that out, rather than just pull the whole board and put it in another board and make one cut, it's a lot easier. So repairs, we're going to do the repairs. And then again, looking at the deck, we're going to put our stripper on here, and we're going to let that sit probably for, it's about 50 degrees right now. You can get a little warmer, and then what we're going to do is allow that to sit and dwell for about a half hour and see if it's going to start to come up. If it doesn't, we let it sit a little longer, keep it wet, keep it moist. Most your strippers that are caustic strippers have to be wet to be active. You got the sun out here, you can see that hidden here, so it's going to dry. You have to keep it misted and keep it wet. We may have to go 45 minutes, an hour on this, whatever it takes. But what we do is we call a scratch test or a scuff test, where we take our boot and all you got to do is just rub it on the wood, and when you see it coming up, start to rinse. If it's not ready to come up, we don't do that. So what we evaluated here was we're going to put the stripper on. We're going to strip off as much as we can. We may have to strip it a second time, which is why I'm not doing the repairs first here. Most times I'll do repairs first. Anyway, then we'll come back and we'll do the repairs. If we come back to do the repairs, we'll have the wood dry, and then if I have to sand anything, I'll sand it. Our goal with the stripper is to get about 90% of this off and leave 10% to sand. If we get 95 off, we're good. Usually people that take 100% of these kind of coatings off, usually what happens is they end up using too much pressure. But we'll see. Every job is different. That's just how it works. So then we're going to let that do the repairs, sand if we have to. We'll do that on the same day. And then the third day we would come back out and we would stain with 2-coat brush application on the whole floor. We brush everything, especially floors. I'm not a sprayer. I don't roll. You can look at other videos for why. And then while this stripper is sitting here working, what are we going to do? Well, that's when we'll clean the railings, the vinyl railings. And actually what we'll do there is we'll use a little bit of bleach, a little bit of soap, and a mix. We have our house wash mix, and we'll use that on there. And then that's how we're going to work today, how we're going to get this restored. So basically on the evaluation of this one is actually the deck, this part of the deck I'm standing on. Well, I'll flip it around again. There you go. The beam to this deck is literally right here. So you have a 4-foot, 5-foot cantilever here, which you're only supposed to have 2 feet out at the end. So the beam is right underneath us. And you can tell that when you walk on the deck a little bit, but he doesn't want to fix it now or do it now. So we do a really good job on this, and this is the way our business model works. We do a really good job on this. And then what happens is we'll get the deck build job when they go to build the deck, rebuild the deck. So anyway, that's the evaluation of this deck. This is evaluation of what you do when you come out to do the estimate and how we're going to proceed. You can see we're pre-wetting now. Once we pre-wet, we're going to go ahead and put the stripper down and then let that sit. We usually don't fire up a pressure washer until it's time to rinse with. No reason to. All we're doing, like I said, is just pre-wet, put the stripper on, and then wait for it to work. I'm Everett Abrams, the Wizard of Wood. Thanks for watching the video. Have a great day.